Hi, welcome back to the Off Plan Show. I'm your host, Mirio Koto, and today we're going to be reviewing a beautiful project, which is arguably the best design project of, I would say, 2026. Now, this project is developed by one of the leading developers in Dubai right now. Now, let's talk about the developer first and foremost. Now, this developer is called Binghatti. Now, Binghatti has transformed a lot. Binghatti is no longer that small real estate developer that used to build very weird buildings with funny looking balconies. Binghatti has now become a luxurious, high end developer. We'd certainly say that it is a boutique developer now. Now, Binghatti has partnered with Mercedes to bring this project behind me. And the name of this project is called Mercedes Benz Places Binghatti City. That's quite a mouthful, but I assure you, this is such a beautiful project. Okay. Now, the location of this project is going to be in Meydan. Meydan is such a fantastic area because of so many reasons. First of all, its proximity to downtown. You're only 10 minutes away to downtown, and you're only about 8 minutes away to Dubai Creek Harbor, which is arguably going to be the next downtown of Dubai. Now, this project, Mercedes Benz City, we'll just call it that, enjoys very many things. One of them is the road connectivity. So we're going to have two major roads that connect this community. One of them is the Dubai Lane Road, and the other one is the Ras Al Khor Road. Aside from that, we have other roads that lead or exit outside the community. So that means commute in and out of the community will not be an issue. You won't have too much traffic in the community. And that's a good thing, unlike downtown and Business Bay. So we might see a lot of people opting to live here. Okay, so the distance from here to downtown is only going to be 10 minutes. So that's an easy commute. And on top of that, you have a lot of roads that can lead you in and out of the community. Okay, take a look at this plot behind me. That's Mercedes-Benz Places. It's massive, right? That's about a 10 million square feet piece of land. So that's a huge plot. It's enough to do everything. Aside from that, they give you 50% greenery, all right? So they're not just going to give you a concrete jungle. They're trying to balance out things a little bit. They're trying to give you a certain lifestyle that you can't find anywhere else. This is certainly going to be one of the biggest park close to downtown, right? So I think they're trying to, target a certain clientele. I would say the more professional, relaxed kind of, investors, right? So the full community will have a total of 13,386 units. Okay, so that's a lot. And out of this, we're going to have 12 buildings in total. So all of that are just 12 buildings, of course, with the iconic one in the middle. I would say that's going to be the Burj Khalifa of Meydan because it has 66 floors. It's certainly going to be the highest building, the tallest building in that area. Now let's take a look at the units, okay? The unit numbers. So in this project, we're going to have studios, all right? 6,321 studios. We're going to have one beds, 4,963 one beds. We're going to have two bedrooms, 1,653 units of two bedrooms rather. Then we have three bedrooms, right? 431. Then we have four bedrooms, which are 9 units, then five bedrooms, which are 9 units. So immediately I can see that we have a lot of studios, and that could be an issue, right? Because that means we're going to have a lot of competition. That would mean that the studios accounts to about 47% of the total inventory in this project. The one beds, which are 496 units, account for 37% of all the inventory available in this project. And the two beds account to 12% of the total inventory. The three beds account to 3%, and the four beds account to 0.067, and the five beds account to 0.67 as well. All right. So immediately you can see there's a lot of studios in this project. Now, that could be a bad thing for somebody who wants to invest in studios because you're going to have a lot of competition. When are you possibly going to rent out all your studios? They can't all be rented out at the same time. So that's one thing to keep in mind. I would certainly say that in this project, they want you to invest from the 2 beds and the 3 beds and the 4 beds and the 5 beds moving forward, right? Because the 2 beds start from 12%. No wonder the 1 beds are already sold out because they account for only 37%. And if I'm an investor, I want to start from where the scarcity begins. And the scarcity begins from the 2 beds, or you could extend that to the 1 beds as well. So if I'm going to invest, I'm definitely going to stay away from the studios and the 1 beds. I'm just going to go to the 2 beds and the 3 beds, right? Because that's where I'm going to make the most money. Now, let's take a look at the building configuration. All right. Only 5 buildings have been released, okay, in what is called phase one. Now we've got Tower 1, then we've got Tower 2, Tower 3, Tower 4, and Tower 5. These are the only buildings released right now. And the rest, Tower 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, are not yet released. They might be available at a later date. All right. So Tower 1, which is called the Project Maybach, it's a standalone building, contains of 24 residential floors. Now that's going to be ground, the lobby, 5 podiums, 24 residential floors, a basement, a mezzanine, and the retail spaces down there. Okay? Then we've got Tower 2 and 3. That's called Vision Mercedes Maybach Ultimate Luxury. All right. That's Tower 2 and 3. They're attached with the podium. Tower 2 is going to be 19 floors, while Tower 3 is 24 floors. Okay. Then we've got Tower 4 and 5 called Vision Mercedes Maybach 6, attached podiums as well, right? So Tower 4 is 29 residential floors and Tower 5 is 34 residential floors, okay? As I mentioned earlier, Tower 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 are not yet released, okay? But Tower 6 is the most iconic one there. That's going to be the best, almost like the crown jewel, and the tallest tower in this project. The name is called Vision Iconic, and it's probably going to be the tallest tower in that area and the most iconic as well. So we only have available Tower 1 to Tower 5. That's the only place that we can invest right now, okay? Tower 1 to Tower 5, right? So let's take a look at the prices and the sizes, okay? So for the studios, all of them, all the internal spaces are the same, all right? Only the balcony varies, but they're all the same essentially. So the size of the studio is 295 square feet internal size. And with the balcony, that could vary from 340 to 385 square feet. The prices may vary from 1.37 million dirhams to 1.42 million dirhams. Of course, the price may change depending on the view, floor, and the size of the project, okay, of the unit, of course. Then we've got the 1 beds. So what's the average size of the 1 beds? We're looking at 630 square feet. Quite small, I do have to say. The studios as well. And imagine them being that small and then you have to pay that much and then you've got a lot of competition. Nearly 47% of it, right, is just dedicated to studios. So that could be a little bit tricky for an investor, right? So nonetheless, the 1 beds are 630 square feet. Price is 2.3 million. And then we've got the 2 beds. The average size is 995 square feet. And the prices is started from 3.3 million. All right. Then we've got the 3 bedroom. The average size is between 1,200 square feet all the way to 1,400 square feet. The starting prices is 5 million. All right. Now the prices, of course, depend on the floor, the view, the size, and all of that. So the prices may change a little bit. All right. Now, each building contains about 40 units of the ones released. All right. And about 8 units on each floor. Now, let's talk about the unit location. First and foremost, you got the studios. The studios are going to be inside, all right, on the inner part in the middle of the building. And then we've got the one beds. The one beds are going to be on the side in the middle, all right? And then we've got the two beds. The two beds are going to be on the side, on the corner, along the corner. And then we've got the three beds. The three beds are all going to be at the top, highest three floors, all right, for this current phase, all right? Now, what's the average prices? The average price per square foot? We're looking at about 3,700 per square foot to about 3,800 dirhams per square foot, depending on the view, the floor, the size, and etc. All right. So that's kind of like the average price per square foot. The service charges will be around 18 dirhams per square foot, depending on the view and the floor and all of that. Payment plan is going to be 70/30. You pay 10% with 4% DLD down payment, and then another 10% after 1 month, and then you continue with the payment plan. Amenities, we're gonna have a lot of amenities, of course. I mean, it's Mercedes. So you're gonna have a pool in each building and a lot of greenery and so many other amenities. We also have retail spaces available, all right? The prices are gonna start from 7,300 square feet, all right? 7,300 dirhams per square feet. Now, retail, they're very good for investment. So if you wanna invest in that, you can get that as well. Completion. The completion of Tower 1, this is Tower 1, is going to be December 2027. That's the first phase. And the completion of phase 2 is going to be in April 2028. The whole community is going to be completed by end of 2029. All right? Now, here's my opinion on this, okay? If I'm going to invest in this project, I would stay away from the studios. It's a lot of studios, 47% of this project. Too many studios, all right? I would certainly stay away from one beds, though I could tolerate a one bed. But those are a lot of one beds. That's like, 37% of the total inventory. I would start from the two beds because clearly they want us to start investing from the two beds, all right? And two beds, if you get a good deal, you could go ahead. And the three beds, yes, I could invest in the three beds. Four beds, yes, I could invest in the four beds and the five beds because scarcity. I don't want to compete too much with other people who are desperate to sell or rent their apartment. All right. Now, I would say that the two, three, four, and five beds are great for investment. Certainly, the three, four, and five, this is where the big money starts. This is where you're going to make a lot of money from. But also the prices for the three beds, they started from 5 million, right? So that's quite an amount, right? But if I was to compare this to, say, Dubai Design District, which almost cater to the same type of clientele, certainly this project becomes cheaper. Now, this is my opinion right here. This project, I can compare it slightly to, I would say, Dubai Design District or Shoba Heartland 2. These are the two big communities that enjoy the same benefits as this community does. And certainly here is where you would find the brand, the luxury, and affordable prices, right? So if you want to invest in this project, look at 2, 3, 4, 5 beds because that's where you're going to be happy with your investment. Because if you set up for a studio, you could get the same returns in another project, because the prices started from 1.3, but without the headache of a lot of inventory because it's going to be a lot of competition trying to sell or profit from the studios, okay? And I do have to say that this is the best designed project so far. I don't think any other developer has a better looking project other than this one. All right. Now, for me, I would give this project an 8 out of 10. Number one is because of the unit density, right? I would appreciate if these units were spaced out. Let's say 20% studios, another 25% one beds, another 30% two beds, so on. So you space it out, but you have almost half of this entire project dedicated to studios. And when you move up, the biggest spending power is within people who have one beds and two beds because they have a family, right? Two and three beds. These are the people with a bigger spending power. They can be able to spend more in the community, right? And the biggest winners in this project are going to be the retail owners, right? So invest in retail here because out of 6,000 units, right? They definitely have to shop. They got to go to the salon. They got to do this. They got to do that. They got to buy stuff. And if you're a retail owner in this community, you're going to benefit a lot from that. So I would say retail is great for investment in this project. Okay, the three, four, and five beds as well. And also, my biggest concern about this project is the orientation, or rather, the positioning of the buildings. I would have appreciated if this buildings would have been slightly oriented almost 45 degrees to the side, other than them just staying flat, straight out, facing each other. So that means that you don't have a good view. Yeah. So you're living in this building, the smaller one, and you can't see the view of the most iconic building up front, which is quote unquote almost like the Burj Khalifa of this community, right? Because that's the centerpiece. That's what everybody wants to look at. So if these buildings were, you know, rotated almost 45 degrees to the side, then everybody would have a lot of sunlight in their apartments and everybody would have beautiful views. This is my only issue with this project. All right. So I have two issues. Number one is the density. Too much studios, they could space that out. And number two is the orientation. You're blocking the view of the one behind you and in front of you, right? So that's not good because the view matters. And it doesn't just matter because of the view, because of the fresh air and the sunlight as well. However, should you invest in this project? Absolutely. Fantastic project. Go for it. What unit should you invest in? Start from the two beds, okay? Because this is where scarcity exclusivity begins. I would certainly overlook the studios because it's a lot of them. I don't want to compete with all of that. It's a headache, right? So I might start from a one bed, but preferably a two bed moving forward. All right. And that's my opinion for today. I've, given you my thoughts on this project. Overall, it's a beautiful project, well designed. I don't think we're going to have a better looking project than this one in 2026 because Mercedes-Benz did a good job, unless they bring another project with BMW or something, you know. But all in all, beautiful project, great greenery, great exclusivity. I think it competes with Dubai Design District, although Dubai Design District is more luxurious. But I could see people who can't afford to live in Dubai Design District are going to move here in the future. And people who can't live in Shoba Heartland would opt to live here in the future, okay? So this is fantastic, great brand community. It's obviously going to do well, but be careful with the type of unit that you're investing. If you need to select a unit, if you have any problems or issues, contact me and I'll guide you and I'll give you an honest opinion on how to move forward. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Mirio Koto and this is the Off Plan Show. See you next time.